In this video, we are going to talk about variables and the different ways that we can create a variable. I am Akash, you're watching Mr. About Tech. Without any further ado, let's get started. Let's say that I have some books and I've stored them in a box so that I don't lose them. So a variable is just like a box and we can store anything in it. In JavaScript, we can have different types of data stored in a variable. We can create a variable in JavaScript like this. So here we have a var keyword, box is the name of the variable, equal sign is an assignment operator, and books is a string type of value that is assigned to the box variable. Like equal, there are different operators like plus, minus, multiplication, division, and many more, which we are going to explore in a separate video. There are different types of data that can be stored in a variable, which we will be talking about in the next video. Now, this var is a predefined keyword in JavaScript. Keywords, or you can call them as reserved words, are those that have some special meaning and working in JavaScript. And these cannot be used as variable or function names. There are three different keywords for creating variables, and they are var, let, and const. Before ES6, we used var keyword for creating variables. So this var keyword has some issues regarding the scoping, hoisting, and redeclaration. We will be talking about scoping and hoisting in a separate video, but let's talk about redeclaration problem. Okay, so now here let's take a variable. So here I have a variable with the name as box, and I've stored books, which is a string. So it is represented by these double inverted commas. So this is a string which is stored in this box variable. This is how we can create and store values in a variable in JavaScript. Now we can also update a variable. So we can update the value for this variable as toys. So this is all fine. You can see in this browser console that it is not showing any output, and it is not showing any errors as well. Now it is not showing any output as we are not console logging anything, so it is not going to show any output, but it is also not showing any error, so it's all good, right? Now what if we do this? So this means that we are redeclaring this box variable. So this one is declared here. Now we are redeclaring this box variable here. This should not be allowed and it should show an error, but as you can see, it is not showing any error. So this is the redeclaration problem that the var keyword has. So this was before ES6. Now with ES6, we have one new keyword for creating variables, and that is the let keyword. So I'm just going to copy this and let's comment these lines out so that those lines don't get executed. And here I'm going to change this to let. I'm going to change this as well to let. Now here, as you can see, that it is showing an error. So the error is that the box has already been declared. So this shows that this redeclaration is not possible with this let keyword. Now if I remove this and just update the value of this variable, then that is totally fine. So it is not showing the error anymore. Alright, so this is the let keyword that was introduced with ES6. Now what if we want to create a variable in which once we store some value, we don't want it to be changed? So for that, we have another keyword which was introduced in ES6, and that is const. So it is to create constant variables. So in that, once we assign a value to a variable, we cannot update it. So now let's see the example for that. We'll comment this out and let's take constant variable. So here the constant keyword is there and box is obviously the name of the variable and the value is books. Alright, now if we do box is equal to toys and if we save this, then as you can see it is showing an error, and that is assignment to constant variable. So here it is saying that there is an assignment, a new assignment, that is there is an updation to this constant variable which is not allowed. So this is the const keyword with which we can create a constant variable. So if you want to create a variable whose value you think will be updated in the future, then you use the let keyword, and if the value is not going to be updated, then you use the const keyword to create that variable. Now I hope the difference between the where, let and the const keyword is clear to you. So these were all the different ways to create a variable and store a value in it. Now there are some rules that you need to follow while naming a variable, and they are: variable names must start with a letter, an underscore or a dollar sign. Variable names cannot have space in between. Variable names can contain letters, numbers, underscore and dollar sign. Variable names are case sensitive, which means box with all the letters small and box with the first letter as capital are two different variables. Now there are some tips that I want to give for naming a variable. Variable names should be meaningful, like const x is equal to 22 doesn't make any sense, but const age is equal to 22 tells us that the data stored, which is 22, is an age. When you have one word variable name, then you must write them in lowercase. When you have a variable name with more than one word, then you must write it in camel case. That is, the first word is in lowercase and all the words after that have their first letter in capital. For example, first name and last name. This helps us in identifying the value stored in the variable and will make it easy for us to remember and use. So that was all about variables in JavaScript. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I will see you in the next one.